The time is at hand.
The elusive dog-like creature attacks livestock, bleeding them dry of blood.
8 to 10 feet tall, shadowy aliens.
The appearance of a mysterious monolith.
Making it rain by zapping clouds.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen.
Welcome to In Dark Places. I'm your Huckleberry, Junebug Fugit. We talk a lot about synchronicities on the show. So I have a synchronicity. Here for about the last year or 5 years or something. I don't know. Time goes too fast anymore. I don't know how long it's been. But I've been uploading Jimmy's old Haunted Chronicles episodes to YouTube because they mostly weren't there before. And as of this recording, on November 30th, 2024, I just uploaded episode 197 of the Haunted Chronicles to YouTube. And the synchronistic fact is that this is episode 197 of In Dark Places. Kind of weird, huh? It wasn't planned. Here's a look at what's going on in the news this week. South Carolina cop spots Sasquatch by Tim Banal. Thanks, Tim. A South Carolina police officer says he spotted what he believes to have been a Sasquatch while hunting deer on his family's property. The intriguing sighting, which was reported to the Bigfoot Field Research Organization last week, occurred near the town of Palmaria at around dawn on November 2nd. While sitting in a ground blind, I heard a loud, toned grunt and a stomp at the same time, the witness recalled. When the deer hunter turned his attention to the direction of the odd noises, he was stunned to see a 7 to 7.5 foot tall, brown human-like shape through all the brush. The witness went on to describe the mysterious bipedal creature as sporting long brown hair, ape-like face, and long arms. Chillingly, the cop said that he and the suspected Sasquatch had something of a stare down that lasted for about 30 seconds, but it felt like forever before it turned and walked away. Despite being armed, the witness smartly opted not to shoot the creature, nor pursue it when it fled, marveling that he had no clue what to make of it. The hunter mused that as much as I didn't want to admit it, I am convinced it was a Bigfoot. Given his occupation and his reluctance to attach his name to the sighting, the cop's account is particularly compelling, leaving one to wonder if he and the Sasquatch crossed paths while both were pursuing deer that morning. Here in the Corporation of the United States, we just had Thanksgiving, and that's a holiday where we go out and kill a turkey, and we cook it for 4 or 5 hours, and we slap it on the table, and we're thankful for everything that we've had in the last year, and in life in general, I guess. Then we invite the extended family over and argue with them about politics for the next couple of hours or so. Weird tradition. I guess we don't really kill the turkey anymore, though. We just go out to the store and buy one that's already been killed for us. We don't have a clue of how to do such things. We're doomed as a society. And then the following day, we have Black Friday. And that's when Walmart has TVs for like $5. And everyone goes out to Walmart and fights over the TV and kills each other with tire iron out in the parking lot and stuff like that. Because they got to the deal before you did, I guess. Not sure how many TVs Walmart thinks we need. I guess we already have 7 or 8. Let's have another one. People are dumb. They buy things they don't need. That got me thinking. What are some other stupid traditions around the world? This week on the show, strange traditions. bizarre rituals around death. Death is a topic that elicits various emotions and cultural practices. While the grieving process may be universal, the rituals and customs surrounding death can be vastly different across cultures. Some cultures have developed unique and seemingly bizarre rituals and traditions to commemorate the departed and honor their journey into the afterlife. In Tibet, a unique practice known as sky burial is performed. This ancient tradition is rooted in Tibetan Buddhist beliefs. The bodies of the deceased are taken to mountaintops, where they are left to be consumed by vultures. The practice is seen as an act of compassion and charity, as it provides food for the birds and allows the soul to transcend to the next life. In Ghana, the Ga-Dangbi people have an elaborate and colorful funeral tradition called fantasy coffins. These coffins are designed in the shape of everyday objects and animals that represent the life or interests of the deceased. Whether it's a fish, a car, or even a shoe, these unique coffins serve as a tribute to the individual's personality and achievements. The Toraja people of Indonesia have a fascinating death ritual called Mainin. Once a year, during the cleansing of the corpses ceremony, the deceased are exhumed from their graves, cleaned, and dressed in new clothes. The bodies are paraded through the villages as a way of paying respect to the ancestors and reinforcing the bond between the living and the dead. Some areas of Madagascar, a ritual called Famadahana is practiced. This is a ceremony of turning the bones, where the remains of deceased ancestors are exhumed from their tombs, wrapped in fresh cloth, and danced with in a joyous celebration. The ritual is believed to bring good fortune and strengthen family bonds. The Agori Sadhus of India engage in a ritualistic practice involving the deceased. These Hindu ascetics live in cremation grounds and meditate near funeral pyres. They cover themselves with the ashes of the dead and use human bones as jewelry. This practice is rooted in their belief that by facing death and embracing the impermanence of life, they can attain spiritual enlightenment. How about the International Hair Freezing Contest in Yukon, Canada? While others despise the winter season and drive it away, people from Yukon, Canada celebrate this season in a freezing way, dunking their heads into hot springs and waiting for their hair to freeze over and icicles to form. With temperatures reaching minus 30 degrees Celsius, it's one of the weirdest but coolest traditions. La Tomatina, Spain's tomato frenzy. In the small town of Buño, Spain, thousands gather each year for an epic food fight unlike any other. La Tomatina is a festival where participants pelt each other with ripe tomatoes, transforming the streets into a sea of red. This tomato-flinging frenzy celebrates camaraderie, releases stress, and leaves everyone drenched in laughter. La Tomatina's origins are steeped in legend, with stories of spontaneous tomato fight erupting during a town parade, turning into an annual spectacle cherished by both locals and tourists alike. Participants come prepared with goggles to protect their eyes from the tomato onslaught, adding a touch of whimsy and camaraderie to the messy affair. The tomato throwing frenzy not only fosters a sense of unity, but also provides an eco-friendly solution to repurpose overripe tomatoes that would otherwise go to waste. And while you're in Spain, be sure to check out the Baby Jumping Festival. In the Spanish village of Castrillo de Musica, a centuries-old tradition involves men dressed as devils, leaping over rows of babies. The ritual is meant to cleanse the babies of sin and ward off evil spirits. Alternative to the tooth fairy. Instead of putting their lost baby teeth under their pillows in order to get paid, children in Greece instead throw their teeth onto the roofs of their houses and make a wish. Cooper's Hill cheese rolling in England. Every year in Gloucestershire, England, you can witness the thrilling Cooper's Hill cheese rolling event. Competitors chase an 8-pound wheel of double Gloucester cheese down a steep 200-yard hill. The first person to the bottom wins the cheese. Participants come from all around the world, making it a unique and exciting global event. Watching or joining this wild race is an experience you won't forget. How about some nice little coming-of-age stories? The Satiri Maui are an indigenous tribe in Brazil. When boys in this tribe reach a certain age, they are subjected to a horrible coming-of-age ritual. This horrendous tradition involves filling up gloves with bullet ants and wearing those gloves. The young boys are forced to wear the gloves for 10 minutes, but do so 20 times, all while they are expected to perform a ritual dance. The Maasai tribe of Kenya and Tanzania has a unique coming-of-age ceremony called Unodo. This ritual is performed to initiate young boys into warriorhood. The centerpiece of the ceremony involves the circumcision of the boys, followed by a series of physical challenges and tests of courage and endurance. The boys must showcase strength and resilience to prove their readiness for adulthood. Kaguru is a traditional form of dance drama in Japan that is performed as a part of the Shinto Kaguru rituals. One particular Kaguru dance is called Saibo and is performed to celebrate the coming of age of young girls. In this dance, the girls wear colorful kimonos and perform elegant movements to showcase their grace and femininity, symbolizing their transition into womanhood. In the Apache Native American culture, girls go through a ceremony known as sunrise dance to mark their passage into adulthood. In preparation for the ceremony, the girls undergo a 4-day ritual that involves purification, prayer, and physical challenges. The culmination of the ceremony is a sunrise dance, during which the girls demonstrate their strength and endurance by dancing for several hours. In Oaxaca, Mexico, a massive radish carving festival happens every holiday season. The annual Noche de Rabanos, or Night of the Radishes, is a tradition that dates back more than 120 years. For the event, locals carve a variety of radishes that grow up to 3 feet long into intricate sculptures and enter them into the competition. While a lot of employers around the world will be upset if they caught an employee napping on the job, the reverse is the case in Japan. In Japan, it is believed that only a hard-working employee would want to take a nap. Napping is also seen as a way of recharging the batteries, a sign of commitment that is clearly valued. And, just for the record, I think I'm going to move to Japan. I do enjoy the naps. South Korea. If you find yourself in the bustling cities or the calm countryside of South Korea, avoid using red ink. Historically, in Korean culture, red ink was only used to note the names of the dead on the family register. If the name of a living person was written in red ink, it was considered a sign that the person who wrote the name wished harm upon the other. Now, using red ink is a huge no-no throughout the country, especially to write down a name. It's considered rude and a sign of ill will against the person whose name is noted, so it's best to simply avoid the color altogether. In Lopburi, Thailand, the residents prepare an annual feast for the local monkeys. Humans are a part of nature, so it's important to include a bit of the natural aspect into your tradition. Lopburi, Thailand has a tradition of preparing some food for the local monkeys that surround the town. From watermelons to lettuce and more, it is done to bring good luck, not only to the people, but also to gain the favor of the monkeys who bring that luck to the region. Boryong Mud Festival, South Korea's muddy extravaganza. Get down and dirty at South Korea's Boryong Mud Festival, where participants revel in mud-covered madness. This unique celebration originated from the local cosmetic industry, and now people flock to the beach to enjoy mudslides, mud wrestling, and even mud pools with rejuvenating properties. The Boryong Mud Festival showcases the transformative power of mud, as participants cover themselves in the nutrient-rich mud, giving their skin a rejuvenating and healthy glow. Throughout the festival, dance parties, concerts, and other lively activities take place, infusing the event with a festive and joyous spirit. Not only do attendees enjoy mud-based fun, but local beauty companies also set up stalls to offer various skincare products derived from the very mud used in the festival. How about we go to Finland and enter the wife carrying contest? These participants race through an obstacle course while carrying their wives on their backs. Their tradition originated in the 19th century when men would steal women from neighboring villages to be their wives. In Fiji, guests are often greeted with a rather unusual drink known as kava. It's made by mixing water with the ground root of a local pepper plant and has a slightly narcotic effect on those who drink it. Kava also tends to numb the tongue and lips. The taste is generally described as bitter and earthy. If you're lucky when you visit Fiji, you may be treated to a kava ceremony. The kava is served to guests in order of their perceived status, so if nothing else, it's an efficient way to find out where you stand in your friend group. And then there's the Poltera Bend in Germany. The Poltera Bend is a unique German wedding tradition that takes place the night before the wedding. Guests gather to break porcelain, believing broken shards bring good luck. This event is lively, filled with laughter and excitement, as everyone participates in smashing plates and other ceramic items. Dating back centuries, this custom is still widely practiced today. It's not just limited to Germany. You'll also find it in parts of Poland, Austria, and Switzerland. So if those places are closer for you, go check it out. Throwing of broken dishes in Denmark. During the year, people in Denmark save any broken dishes, plates, cups, or bowls until New Year's Eve. On the New Year, they throw the broken dishware at the homes of friends and family as a way to wish them good luck for the new year. A less aggressive way to wish good luck is to simply leave a pile of broken plates on the doorstep of a loved one. The tradition dates back centuries and is one of the more unique ways to ring in the new year. The Yanomami tribe from Venezuela and Brazil eats the ashes of their dead. They are forbidden by tradition to keep any body parts of the deceased, so they burn them, divide the remains amongst the family members, who then proceed to consume them. This practice is known as endocannibalism, and their reasoning behind it is to keep their loved ones alive. They do not believe death to be a natural process. Every year, the Czechs have a witch-burning festival to ward off the evils of winter. On April 30th every year, people across the Czech Republic come together for Karodinjnis. This festival sees them burning winter witches, which are really dummies built from sticks and straw. The heat generated from this fire is said to get rid of the last of the cold, and to force evil witches to go away until next winter. Afterward, sausages are roasted over the fire, and there are plenty of drinks and dancing as part of this fun tradition. Ghost marriage. While the wedding day is known to be one of the happiest days of a woman's life, this is not so for a few men or women. In China, these women engage in what is called a ghost marriage, where they are married off to a dead man. After the wedding, they are expected to move in with the family of the dead and remain celibate until their death. Ghost marriage could also involve two dead people if both families want to still become integrated. This weird culture is done for a number of reasons, some of which include ensuring the younger brother doesn't get married before the elder, a case of the deceased being older. Still going ahead to tie a couple together if one passes away after an engagement has been done, integrating an unmarried daughter into a family. In the town of Ivrea, Italy, a unique festival called the Battle of the Oranges takes place during Carnival. Inspired by a historic event, this festival involves teams of revelers hurling oranges at each other. Participants are divided into organized squads, with one group representing foot soldiers and the others riding in horse-drawn carts. The result is a lively, citrus-filled battle that symbolizes the overthrow of a tyrant. Welsh Christmas customs, like the Mari Lwyd, date back to the first half of the 19th century. A horse's skull is embellished and then mounted on a broomstick. The skull seems like the head of some scary horse because the person holding the stick is draped in a sheet. The horse will stop and knock on every door before moving on. When a door is opened, the people who have gathered around the horse start singing and requesting admittance inside the house. Taipawism, India's piercing ritual. Experience the awe-inspiring Taipawism festival, celebrated by Hindus in various parts of the world, most notably in Malaysia. Devotees pierce their bodies with hooks and skewers as an act of penance and devotion. Witness the intense displays of faith as participants carry elaborate kavadas, decorated structures, while in a trance-like state. Devotees begin their preparations for Taipawism weeks in advance, observing strict vegetarian diets, practicing meditation, and performing acts of charity, making it a profound and transformative spiritual journey. The piercing ritual is believed to induce a trance-like state, allowing devotees to transcend pain and connect with the divine on a deeply spiritual level. Taipawism serves as a cultural bridge, bringing people from different backgrounds together to witness and respect this remarkable expression of faith. The burial of the sardine in Spain, known as Entierro de la Sardina. This tradition marks the end of the carnival season and other events. This is when a fun funeral takes place, with the sole purpose of burying a fish by the fountain of the birds. It ended with the ceremonial burning of a fish figure, usually a sardine. It's celebrated on Ash Wednesday, and it's a way of burying the past so people can move on with newfound strength and happiness. In Russia, as in most countries, certain flowers have very specific meanings. You should never give someone yellow flowers in Russia, for instance, because that usually symbolizes deceit, betrayal, or a breakup. Similarly, red carnations should never be given to the living. They tend to be associated with graveyards and are, therefore, an ill omen in any other context. In some parts of China, there's a unique and fascinating custom where a husband carries his pregnant wife over hot coals. This practice is believed to ensure an easy and successful labor. You might be surprised to learn that this ritual is quite ancient and deeply rooted in local traditions. One reason behind this custom is to bring good luck and health to the mother and the baby. This act is seen as a test of devotion and strength from the husband. It's also thought to ward off natural diseases and bring harmony to the family. Camel wrestling. This tradition is most common in the Aegean region of Turkey, but is practiced in other Asian countries as well. It features two camels who fight with each other while people watch. This is almost considered a sport in Turkey. The camels are dressed in ceremonial garb, and whoever does not run is the winner. This event is held during the mating season, since male camels have a natural tendency to fight each other then. If you're not married on your 25th birthday in Denmark, you might be doused in cinnamon. This unusual tradition is said to have emerged hundreds of years ago when Danish spice merchants spent so much time traveling they didn't have time to get married. Today, the joke is played in good fun, but be warned, if you're still single at 30, the spice that gets thrown at you changes from cinnamon to black pepper. Rejecting a gift or compliment is a sign of politeness. While it is customary to accept a gift offered and thank the giver, doing so in China is considered rude and could even be seen as a sign of vanity. It is expected that you reject the gift or compliment the first time it is offered before going ahead to accept it. Rumspringa. The Amish church is certainly unique, and one interesting aspect is the traditional coming of age Rumspringa. The Amish are a religious community largely based in many parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana, as well as smaller groups in other states. They live simply without modern technology or fashion. At age 16, however, the Amish children are allowed to experience life outside of the community for the first time. Rumspringa is meant to be a time for the kids to fully explore their faith in the real world in order to come to a decision on their own whether they want to return to the Amish church or not. Whether the teens decide to return or not after Rumspringa, the time spent in the outside world is never put to waste. Teens can live on their own or live with families, buy cars, go to wild parties, try alcohol for the first time, get an education, as Amish schooling only goes to the 8th grade, and much more. The Ata-Atan Festival in the Philippines is a vibrant celebration that combines elements of indigenous culture and Catholic traditions. Participants, dressed in tribal costumes and covered in black soot, paint their faces and bodies to mimic the appearance of the Ata people. They parade through the streets, dancing to the beat of drums and chanting Halabira, while imitating the Ata's joyful and carefree spirit. Lithuanians celebrate the warm season of summer with the Day of Midsummer. During this day, young women must only wash their cheeks with fresh dew in the morning. Later in the evening, people will gather around bonfires in the countryside and around the cities to make wishes and cast spell bags into the water to bring their desires to pass. Young couples also visit rural areas to look for fern blooms. Suspicious. Finger cutting. Dani tribes' rituals of India. In the highlands of Papua, Indonesia, the Dani tribe practices a rather unusual tradition as part of the local justice system. When a person is found guilty of a crime, they must undergo a ritualistic finger-cutting ceremony, with a number of fingers cut depending on the severity of the offense. In Italy, welcoming the New Year is more than just fireworks and feasts. One unique tradition involves throwing old furniture out of the window. This quirky practice symbolizes a fresh start by getting rid of items that no longer bring joy. In most parts of Nigeria, a woman who loses her husband is subjected to a gruesome and humiliating ordeal to prove she has had no hand in her husband's death. In most of these cases, she's locked up in a tiny hut for 3 months without the option of taking a bath, has her hair shaved, and is made to drink some of the water used to wash her husband's corpse. Refusal to do any of these earns her the name a witch, and she most likely had killed her husband. And we are woefully out of time. I'm a little late uploading this episode, as I usually tend to be. I've been sick. Stay sick. I was always a sickly kid. Talk about that every time I get sick on the show, I think. But there's 12 months in a year, right? I think about 3 months of a year I am always sick. Craziness. Hey, but since the episode is late coming out, there's going to be another episode here in a few days. Be sure to check that out. And thanks for listening. We'll see you again on the next episode in a few days. God bless.